The madness of March is upon us. The snakes have once again been driven out of Ireland by our favorite saint, and we are well on our way to finishing the semester strong. Before we start going through the material for the week, I wanted to revisit the college-wide late policy that some of you are either not happy with, not aware of, or just ignoring altogether. The English departments of the 4 campuses of the Delaware Technical Community College system set forth a cohesive late policy which all instructors must follow. For the smaller assignments, also known as the formative assessments, you have up to 48 hours to turn it in for a late penalty of a 10% hit to your final grade for that assignment. And that's 10% of the total points, not 10% of what you earned. For the larger assignments, also known as the summative assessments, you have up to 1 week to turn it in for a late penalty of a 15% hit to your final grade for that assignment. And again, that's 15% of the total points, not 15% of what you earned. Since I was very clear about this in the very first video you should have watched for this class, I wanted to remind you that this is not a new policy. So, sorry to bring you down for this early moment in the video, but it needed to be said. Now that we've gotten that reviewed, let's talk about what's going on this week. We know to go down here to the View the Course Schedule, click on the 102 Masterclass Schedule, and we're going to scroll all the way down to Week 6, right underneath the Unit 3 banner. And here we are. It's a pretty thick week here because we're starting a brand new unit, but it'll get better, I promise. So we have 4 things to look through. We have 2 assignments to submit. It's going to be a really long video, so let's just not screw around, okay? In what is an argumentative research paper? Well, it's exactly what you expect. It's the first document which shows you what an argument research paper is. This is the big assignment, folks. It's going to be, by far, worth the most points of anything this semester. The first 2 papers built toward this. It's not due for a little while, week 10, but I have a secondary document which I believe does the job that this page is trying to do a lot better and more succinctly because, I really dislike this. It doesn't do anything. If I just click on this, it's, oh, wait, there's an introduction, great, and a really quick short hook. But honestly, no. Like the Unit 1 and Unit 2 supplementary material, the one I'm going to show you features 2 pages of introduction and then a full sample to show you formatting, organization, and development of ideas. So you can look at the sample here or here, and that's fine. You can look at the requirements here, and that's fine. But honestly, I think my document does it just a little bit better. It may not be as colorful, but you know what? It shows you what you need to know, right? So what we have is a minimum of 6 sources, which you're probably going to have 7, because you have 2 for Unit 1, 2 for Unit 2, and 3 for Unit 3. 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. So here we have the requirements, 7 to 8 pages, full pages. Do not give me 6 full pages and a little bit on page 7. You will lose points. With 7 pages minimum. 3 additional sources, so 3 new sources. You're going to be using a total of 7 authoritative sources, not 6. Minimum requirements for the source integration or evidence, the CSET resources. Make sure that the source material is 5 years old or less. Make sure you're following APA format. Some of you get dinged on this a lot. So Times New Roman or Calibri 12-point font, correctly formatted title page, page numbers, repeated title, headings, in-text citations, and references. The structure will match the directions I'm about to show you in the sample I'll show you in a minute. Use only the third-person point of view. That's he, she, it, they, them. Do not use first person, I, me, my, our, we. And do not use second person, you, your, yourself, okay? As you can see here, it's the structure. You're going to have a single paragraph introduction. If you have a double paragraph introduction or a triple paragraph, that's fine for much longer papers. And I'm sorry to tell you, a 7 to 8 page paper is really not a long one. But if you have a 50-page paper, I'll give you 2 or 3 paragraphs for the introduction. That'll be fine. Then you have a minimum of 1 background paragraph. Some of you might have a very simple topic that can be understood by many people. Others might have a very technical topic. You might need multiple background paragraphs. Then we have a minimum of 3 reasons in your argument. These are your 3 claims in CSET. Each claim is going to have different pieces of evidence. It's not one claim for one evidence. You can have multiple pieces of evidence for each claim, but you're going to need at least 3 paragraphs, if not more, to support your argument. Once you get through there, you're going to need at least a minimum of 2 paragraphs for the counter-argument and the rebuttal. The counter-argument, once again, is the idea that you may not be correct, the other people think this way, and then the rebuttal shows that, no, you're really not correct because here's why I'm right. Okay? And then finally, you've got your conclusion, which should only be a single paragraph. Do not give me a multiple paragraph conclusion. So all of this is theory, and you're welcome to read through it as much as you want. That's great. But here is the sample I promised you. Note that the header does not have any running head, does not have any title, does not have my name, your name, doesn't have your blood type. It has the page number. That's it. Then we get into your paper's title, skip, your name, Department of English, Delaware Technical Community College, the class that you're currently enrolled in, my name goes here, and then the due date, okay? So that's perfect. Then down here, we copy the title again. Again, nothing up here in the header. And then we have the introduction, our thesis statement. We have then our background. We have a single background paragraph here. No, we don't. We have a double background. Great. As you can see, we have in-text citations here. We have our authors, our year, and then the location of the information. How wonderful is that? Right there for you to see. Underneath the background, we then get into Claim 1, and it tells us what the claim is. We go into Claim 2, and it tells us what the claim is. We go into Claim 3, and it tells us what the claim is. And then Claim 4. You only need 3 claims minimum, but you are welcome to put 4, 5, 6, 12, 15 claims if that's what you really want. Whatever you feel is going to support your side of the argument, okay? But spell that out, and then we get into the counter-argument, which happens to be a double paragraph, which is fantastic. And then we get down into the rebuttal, which happens to be another double paragraph, okay? And then finally, we have our conclusion, which is a simple paragraph. By the time that the people who wrote this sample are done, they had 8 full pages minus the title page. So 8 full pages plus a little bit on the 9th. This does not mean that there were 9 full pages, okay? And then every source that you use within the paper gets listed here in alphabetical order. C comes before GE, comes before GR, comes before GU, comes before L, comes before M, comes before P, comes before S, okay? Please make sure they're in alphabetical order. Follow APA formatting rules. Does that make sense? And if that was too much for you, all the requirements are listed here in what I consider to be not as good of a detail, but there are different elements here that you can kind of go through, okay? Either way, that works nicely. But the biggest change to start from the papers that we wrote to the papers that we're writing is that we're going from 3 to 4 pages in Unit 1 to 4 to 6 pages in Unit 2, and now the big mamma jamma, 7 to 8 pages in Unit 3, okay? I want 7 pages minimum, not 6 pages in a paragraph, okay? After that, everything falls into the same category, and I just went over it. This is going to be worth 25% of your final grade in the class. So this one needs to be focused upon because for the vast majority of you, it will mark the difference between passing or failing. Basically, if you have a 95 or above in the class and you decide just to not turn it in, okay, you might actually pass the C. Maybe. That's how you do on the presentation. But I would really recommend doing as well as you can on this, okay? So, after we go through that, we can click on classical argument, and here it is. Well, this page kind of stinks, because it just shows you 2 YouTube videos. Now, you can go through them, and I recommend it, but honestly, there's nothing explanatory about this. So, let me try to help. An argument is not just 2 or more people yelling at each other throwing things, kicking things, spitting on people. An argument is a multiple perspective discussion on a single topic. It requires support for each side, or else we're looking at a simple assertion, which becomes more than the understanding the argument that you already kind of understand. An assertion is just people screaming at each other, really. I'm right. You're wrong. No, I'm right. You're wrong. And then there's finger pointing, yelling, and all that stupid stuff. That's why most people picture this as an argument, because we're so used to it. But the argument itself features a few key elements that you need to know. An argument always begins with a thesis, the statement that can be proved true or false. Once that thesis is stated, then the person stating the thesis has to prove that thesis. It's not just a matter of saying, this is what I believe, so disprove me, because that's actually a logical fallacy known as burden of proof. Remember all those movies and TV shows you watch where the scenes took place in a courtroom? The prosecution has to prove their point. They cannot just state an idea and hope that everyone else does the work for them. Same thing here. Once you state your thesis, you provide solid evidence to break down the thesis into smaller claims that you can use to prove the entire idea. You'll need at least 3 smaller claims to show how your side of the argument is the stronger side. Once you develop your side, you must be open to the prospect that your opponent, or the other side of the argument if you don't want to view this as an adversarial thing, has at least 1 or 2 good points of their own. So the counter-argument will be their opportunity to illustrate the opposing side to your thesis. Since you will be writing this paper on your own and not team writing, you will have to both do your side of the argument and the counter-argument, which means that you must be fair and complete with the opposing side. Additionally, you have to support the opposing side, which means that showing how, in some cases, your side could be a bit weak. Once you go through the counter-argument, you will provide the rebuttal. This is where you can show your reader how the counter-argument, while possibly having a couple of good points, is still nowhere near as strong as your original argument. If the counter-argument was better than yours, then you may want to rethink your original approach. Overall, the basics of an argument are pretty similar throughout the world, and even over the last, millennia or so. We haven't really thought about changing how arguments are done because it's worked so well since a few hundred years BC when it was formalized. So down here, the next page, the qualities of a good research question, there it is actually kind of one of my favorite pages because I don't really have many issues with it. In order to move forward with our paper, we need to have a solid direction for our research, which begins with our research question. So how do we do it? Well, we do it by looking at this page. You can look at it more in depth if you want, but I just wanted to show you that a good question is not opinion, and a good question can actually be answered by using solid research. If it cannot be answered using solid research, it's not a good topic for the time being. Once you think of it that way, you can glide through the process knowing that you have a solid base from which to build. Then our last page here is research questions and search term tips, which is right here. It shows you an easy step to move from your research questions to your claims, and then you can prove with your argument these ideas. It's not simply a loss of 1 or 2 words. There are a few shifts in thinking to worry about as well. Honestly, such a nice day outside. I keep getting distracted by the birds. I'm so sorry. So in any case, if you look through this page and see examples given, I think it's far easier to kind of pay attention to these than to try to be explained. So go through them and see how we get from a why into a statement, a what into a statement. These are what's called the reporter questions. Who, what, where, why, when, and how, okay? How to find your keywords. Just look for the things that keep getting repeated, okay? Cruelty towards animal abuse, animal neglect, animal cruelty. All of this will work, okay? You also have academic and keyword journals here. You can look in EBSCOhost, you can look in SIRS, and they're both available to you, okay? Whew, that's a lot. I knew this video would be a long one. Sorry. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we have 2 assignments this week. Yay! So make sure to get that done. The assignments are the Unit 2 paper and the Unit 3 building research questions. This one's not so easy. This one's pretty easy. But we reviewed the Unit 2 paper several times, so I won't belabor that point, but I have included the sample again in the announcement, so you have yet another opportunity to not lose points on formatting. Please make sure to follow all the requirements and expectations for this. Once you're ready, all you have to do is just, attach it to the bottom of this and you're good to go. But it's on the announcement at the beginning, okay? Right on the front page. So please make sure that you get that done. Then, once you're done the hard part, you can go right into the easy part, which is the Unit 3 research questions, okay? This is going to be pretty quick and easy. You have 2 chances to download the correct template, right here and right here. It's not going to look like this exactly, but it's going to resemble it. So the sample looks just a slight bit different than the one I created, which honestly is, from here down, identical in what you're going to need. The only thing is I just have you put in your general topic and thesis question here, which should be from the Unit 2 paper, not the Unit 1 paper. I messed that up. But put these here to kind of remind you what you're doing. Then you can ask your research questions that you should be covering this week. Your tentative position on your topic, basically which side are you kind of falling on. And then reasons for your support. Why do you think your side is stronger than the other? Because of this, because of this. Do not write, because I have statistics. Wonderful. The other side has statistics too. You have statistics that do what? You have examples that show what, okay? Give me that material. And then the understanding of my audience. Make sure that you answer these. Oh, there we go. Little tickle. Make sure you answer these in complete sentences. Several complete sentences. One single short sentence will not get you the points, folks. Please make sure that you answer these in detail. That will be incredibly helpful, and you will love the grade that you get. And that's the video, folks. Just a shade over 3 full pages of script on a Friday. That's actually kind of nice outside with a little bit of cloud cover. As for you and your Unit 2 paper, get on it and have a great weekend. I hope you have a wonderful time this week. Hope the weather's good. Spring has already broken, so let's just get to it. See ya.